Welcome to Talk Theory. It's your host, Kiara Barnes, where I talk all things life, what makes us human, and what makes us superhuman. Sit back, relax, and join me for a chat. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Theory. How is everyone doing? I hope you all got plenty of rest and are feeling good for the new year. I want to say this because I had so much fun. No promo. I guess it's free promo, but I went to go see that new movie, Anyone But You, with Sydney Sweeney. Love her. And Glenn Powell. And it was so fun. It was so cute. I was laughing. I was kicking my feet. I was giggling. Okay, we need more of those to come back. We need those cute 2000s rom-coms. Like, that's what I grew up with. And so I feel like I will always have so much love in my heart for them. You know, like the How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days kind of vibe. John Tucker Must Die kind of vibe. Like, I grew up on those, and so it was so fun to like get back to that. I want to see more of those. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, we haven't gotten like a Dear John moment. Like, where's the Nicholas Sparks? You know? So that was great. It's such a nice break, you know, from all the intense and serious film and TV, which is great, but you know, it's nice to just have a little fun. Also, because it's 2024, I'm just putting this out there because, you know, let's see what the universe does. I hear Glenn Powell is single. So, hey, Glenn. Not really, but actually really. Anyways, we'll leave that there. Health and wellness wise, I've been taking it pretty slow myself. I recently got back into my yoga practice. I bought yoga blocks for like the very first time. I've been doing yoga for quite some time, and I finally was like, why don't I just get these? So yeah, I've been doing that, trying new recipes, EFT tapping, which if you've never heard of that, we can definitely get into that at a later time for another episode. It's really, really good. But I've been really good about a more well-rounded health and wellness routine. And I want to say health and wellness because it's so many different things that are going on, and not just like, it's not set in stone, but it's just what I know makes me and my body feel good, which we can get into as well, even with like food and stuff. You know, I've been drinking like a specific kind of tea and incorporating what is it called? Like a fermented kind of vegetable that's been really helpful. And I've noticed a difference definitely in my skin and in my digestion, stomach. And so, yeah, we can definitely get into that on another episode. But man, oh man, it's all been very uplifting and eye-opening for me. Energetically, I just feel better. And I've had a lot. I also want to say too, like through this process, I've had a lot of my energy focused, or learned where I had a lot of my energy focused and where my thoughts really have been, even just in the past year. And it's interesting because it's literally only been 2 weeks and I'm seeing such a huge difference, which is nice. 2 weeks of me being very consistent about like, let me just get back to what I know feels good. Even like, yes, we should make this actually like a wellness series or something. And I'll tell you guys just about what I'm even doing with my face, like, and my hair. I'm kind of recently experimenting with products and things that are just low key and not meaning, you know, like cheap in the sense of like, oh, I don't really care, but just kind of like simplifying routines. And it seems to my body is like really enjoying that and getting back to basics, rather than putting so much on. And I feel, you know, we're definitely in the renaissance of influencer and buy, and you need this and you need that. And which can be great to be introduced to new quality products. But at the same time, it's like kind of just going back to what works for you and keeping it simple. So maybe I'll do actually a continued series on this while I keep going, because it's really been a journey, just like I said, in these past 2 weeks. And I actually want to even give myself 3 months, perhaps, really, to kind of share with you guys my summation of the effects of doing this wellness routine. And you guys are willing to join in, of course. But yeah. So moving along. Through this process of going inward and outward with myself, some themes and some things have come up for me, and I just wanted to talk about one in specific, and that is forgiveness. I feel like it's such an interesting one, because I feel like my immediate reaction is like, oh, no. I don't have any, like, I don't harbor anything. Like, I don't have any resistance when it comes to forgiveness. What do I need to forgive? Let people be how they are, and what's of the past is of the past, which I do agree to an extent. But here's the thing. As I've been in this wellness practice, okay, and I've been giving my body and mind the space to process, I realized I actually have been holding on to a lot of the past and really not forgiving as much and as fully. And not just with like other people or situations, but even with myself. And it's interesting because I've been doing a lot of body work to let this, that let me know of this old energy, and this body work has been helping me do major release in it. And it's just interesting because I was listening to even like, a teacher on acupuncture and energy release. And he was talking about how we may have resistance in places that we don't think that we have resistance. And that sometimes we need to do certain things in order to get to that place of regulation. And so he goes, your mind might be saying, oh, well, I don't need to do that to feel better. This is like too extra. This is too much. Or I know this successful person, or I know this whatever enlightened person, who knows, right? Who was able to get through what they needed to get through without having to do any of this. And he said, yeah, that might be the case for them. That might be absolutely true. But something to keep in mind is we're not all wired the same and set up with the same mechanics. So just like for one person, they might be able to eat whatever they want, right? In the sense of like having all the candy in the world, all the pizza and ice cream in the world, and their skin is completely fine. They look porcelain, amazing, and they still feel in shape and could go run a mile like an hour later and feel completely fine. Okay. But then there's some of us where that would not work for us. And especially as we're adults and grow older, we find that, oh, now my body needs more support in this way and more movement to keep it functioning and healthy. And, drinking this tea or this water has made me feel better in some kind of way. Where, vice versa for someone else, they're like, oh, I don't really need to do all that. And so it's this idea, like if we're using the example of the candy thing, it's like, when we're able to get away with it as a child, it's fine, but it doesn't really work for us now. And therefore we have to work at different things or approach things at a different angle to get to that desired end result. Right? So some folks might have more resistance in some places than others, and that's to be expected. And it's okay to utilize however many tools you need to utilize to get to that point, to feeling good. You know, some people have more resistance when it comes to, you know, I don't know, like thinking positively or fitness or eating right or who knows, right? But we're all different. And so if you need a little extra help, there's nothing wrong with using that extra help. My thing is always, if it doesn't harm anyone and I feel good after doing whatever it is, whether it be journaling, tapping, yoga, meditation, if I feel good afterwards and I don't feel like stressed or icky or whatever, then I know that it's good for me. You know, that's usually a safe bet. And so that in itself gave me the permission to really let go and loosen up my grip on having to be this perfect representation of a human. You know, we can only do what we have and learn to grow from there. Do with what we have and learn to grow from there. So as I'm working through this tapping session, I find this thought of forgiveness coming up for particularly two people. And I go, well, of course I forgive them. You know, that was so long ago. And then I thought, okay, you know what, just keep going because it's popping up for a reason. Breathe through it and just see where your next thought takes you. And I found I was holding on to this feeling of rejection. That's kind of where it rooted from. This feeling of not being good enough or lovable. And I still carried a sense of upset because of these two separate interactions with these two people. And so I decided to meditate on it and then write out my feelings. And I realized, okay, that's something I can actually work on. And I had this big aha moment, which was no matter how much anger or frustration or upset I hold, one, it cannot change the past, you know, and there's no point in me holding on to that energy because it will only make me feel depleted, you know, and the universe is also one big mirror. So whatever someone has made me feel or I've felt as a cause of whatever, they've had to face those feelings on their own at some point in time because we're all human. We all go through feelings. So me adding to that isn't changing really anything. Me like holding on to that one time they said this thing and it made me feel bad. So now anytime around them, I feel tense or I'm upset or I don't want to talk about or blah, blah, blah. Like it doesn't change the past and it doesn't make them feel any worse than whatever they're feeling, they're going to feel or are feeling. So sending them love and forgiving the circumstance instead is so much better because they're really only doing the best that they can with whatever they currently have and with the things that they've gone through that has brought them to the decisions they've made. Now, this seems easier, obviously, to apply to things that feel lighter to forgive about, but the heavier things are obviously going to be harder. But it's not about you saying whatever happened was totally okay and we're good to go. Because let's get that straight, right? Like inflicting any kind of pain or malicious intent on someone or on one another it's not okay. All you're doing is, when I say this, is all you're doing is giving yourself permission to cut that energetic cord between you and that person because holding on to it will only bring you down further. It's in the past. There's nothing you can do to change it. The most powerful thing you can do is release it from you. And this is going to be something new, but if you wait towards the end of the episode, I'm going to lead you through an energy releasing exercise that I really like. And it's called cord cutting. And it just gives such an instantaneous sense of relief. And I love doing it every time. And it it's just, you'll feel so much lighter afterwards. Obviously, if you're driving, definitely pause the episode once we get there and try it out later. You want to be relaxed for it. But real quick, before we even get into that, I do also want to even talk about the journey of self-forgiveness as well, because I think that's part of it. I think it's really easy for a lot of us to get super hard on ourselves. And we've all heard that term, we're all our own worst critic. And we always want the best for ourselves. So it makes sense, like in theory, that's great. The whole idea of like, oh, I'm my biggest competition is me or whatever. But I think it's the way you do it and the intention and energy behind it. And if we can do it with compassion and peace, it'll be so much more impactful than like, I don't know, having this tense energy towards yourself. And an example of this, the other day, I was having a really, really good day and felt super uplifted. I was really in peace. Good. And later in the day, life happened, as it does. And, things went from woohoo to like, oh my gosh. And I found myself so frustrated and upset. And not really at the situation, but at myself. I was just so disappointed that I let something get me to a point of feeling upset. And that upset, I should say. And I think it was just the idea of like, gosh, I've been doing so good. I've been on this, kick of feeling really good. And then something happened and I let it really get to me. And it kind of like put a damper on the vibes. So I was like, okay, I got to a point after feeling the feeling, I was like, let's approach this through the lens of love. And so I did some yoga to move my body. I definitely find moving the body when you're in any sense of frustration kind of helps, and it helps release from feeling stuck. And using our breath to ground us can really help self-regulate, which feels amazing when you're off balance. So I did some tapping and then I decided to journal. And, you guys, I've talked about this a ton, but I find journaling helps my mind slow down too, because I end up writing out the thoughts that are circulating in my mind. So as I'm writing, I'm realizing it's okay, Kiara. It's okay. You are just as much human as you are spirit. You cannot be full-time perfect. It's impossible. I'm living on earth, so I will be having a human experience, which is amazing. And it's full of imperfections, and all of those imperfections draw me closer to my spiritual self and help me grow as a person while I'm here on earth, and I'm doing the best with what I can right now. And if anything, it says a lot about my growth that I decided to go within and find space and compassion for myself rather than to harbor in frustration that could be forgiven and released. And it was such a big moment. Like, I felt so proud of myself and so happy to know that I'm okay. Like, everything is okay. I'm doing my absolute best, and hiccups are expected along the way, but I'm giving myself the ultimate amount of love and joy to process and continue on. It's all part of the human experience, and that is a beautiful thing. Okay. Now we are going to get into the exercise portion, okay? So again, heads up, pause this and come back to it if you want to. This is not school. You do not have to do it. But if you would like to try the exercise or feeling like you want to let go of something, give it a try and you can listen to it. Again, you want to do this while you are sat somewhere without any distractions. Safety first, folks. Okay. With your consent, I will lead you through. Find a place to sit. It can be in your bed, the floor, a chair, or you can even lay down. Whatever feels the most comfortable. To start, you're going to close your eyes and take 3 really deep breaths. So in, out, in, out, in, out. Connect with your body and just be silent for a moment. Another deep breath. And then you're going to let it out. You're going to imagine a light or an aura. The color is your choice. This light creates a bubble around you and expands out. This bubble is protection over you during this time. Breathe in as you let this light pour through you and over your body. Breathe out. Its warmth travels from the top of your head, your face, the back of your head, your neck and throat, your chest and belly, your upper back, your lower back, your hips, thighs, lower legs, the back of your feet, tops of your feet, all the way to your toes, creating comfort and a sense of groundedness to you and the earth. Breathe in, breathe out. Now you are going to call in the person, thing, or moment you would like to break an energetic cord with. See it in front of you. Breathe deeply, knowing you are protected and supported. You are safe. Look downwards in your mind's eye. See where the energetic cord between you meets. Is it your heart, your stomach, your chest, your head? Identify the cord and the color. Allow yourself a breath. The universe has brought you a bright sword. It vibrates in white, bright energy, embedded with love. You take that sword, breathing in, and on the exhale, cut the cord. You watch as the connection dissipates. What do you see? That person becoming their childlike self, the situation being fizzled. What do you feel? Love, compassion, peace. Breathe. Whatever feelings come about as you see whatever you were energetically connected dissipate and float away, being engulfed by an energy of love and peace. Breathe deep in this release. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Inhale love. Exhale love. Know that what you feel right now is real. This release you've been given was a gift from you to yourself. The universe holds you deeply with care and love. Take a moment to yourself to just observe. Wiggle your toes and fingers, connecting back to the earth realm, connecting back to your human body, fluttering your eyes open slowly. Breathe in, exhale. You should feel really, really good after that. I'm like super zenned out myself. And feel free to come back to that meditation as many times as you'd like. It's great for releasing old energy and feeling just an instant sense of relief. Okay, as we come to a close, let's get into the theory of the week. You are the light between that which sets you free. Release into this knowing fully and completely. I hope you guys liked today's episode, and I really, really hope that meditation helped you if you tried it. If you want more of those, let me know. I love to share them. Meditation is a huge part of my life. So feel free to share this episode as well if you think it's going to help someone. And subscribe if you want more episodes like this every Monday. It's also a new year, so if you haven't left a review or a rating, it would mean a lot to me. All right, thanks for the love, guys. I appreciate it, and I shall see you next week. Okay, love you. Bye.